Hello everyone and welcome to today's sit down. I have the record holder as well as the fastest woman in our beautiful South Africa. I've spent a little bit of time with her off camera and she is nothing like I expected. She's gentle, she's soft, she's such a nice, beautiful person to speak to, and I can't wait to get into her history. Carina Horn, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Amazing. I've watched some of your races and you're like a cheetah, my friend. You are a female cheetah just running towards a record every single time.
Thank you.
Congratulations on your success. And I know you're just getting started. You're a young lady. Your training regime is impeccable. Your attention to detail is very, very high. So I know there's much to come from you. But before we get to the future, let's dive into the past. So a couple of years ago, 2-3 years ago, you're 17. 17-year-old version runs in, sits next to you on the couch. I want to process your mindset. Are you laser focused? I'm going to be the fastest woman in South Africa. I'm going to smash records in sprinting. Or are you a 17-year-old girl, like thinking about other sports? What are you thinking about? What are you processing?
Yeah, so the 17-year-old me I always knew I wanted to become an athlete, but I never knew in what sport or what direction I wanted to go in, because there was hockey. I was the first team tennis captain. There was cricket, playing with the boys' first team, opening bowler.
Opening bowler?
Yes, opening
wow,
bowler, yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah, so I bowled, I think, average of 125 kilometers per hour in school. And
jeez, that's
yeah,
what professionals bowl today.
yeah, so it was
some of the good ones.
And yeah, actually my cricket was actually number one, cricket and hockey, and then like tennis, but it was just like
a side hustle.
Yeah, keeping me busy. And yeah, then athletics happened. But yeah, when I was 17, I just knew I wanted to do the sports, but it all came a bit later, at the later stage in matric, where I actually had to decide. My parents said, like, listen, you're too busy now. You have to decide. You can't do everything. If you want to achieve something, you must like focus on one thing to be the best. Else you will only be average in everything. So you have to decide.
Okay, yeah. Tough choice. And I know mom and dad got divorced when you were a lot younger. How old were you?
I think 6 or 7 years old.
6 or 7 years old. And who was tough on you, mom or dad?
I think my mom.
Mom was tough. Good. Yes. So you are placed with I always call it a T-junction decision. You moet nou links of rechts. Now you need to decide left or right, where we going. Yes. And process that decision with me, because I know hockey, you're playing first team. You are smashing records, high scorer. How are you putting athletics ahead of hockey at that stage of your life in matric?
Yeah, so it was a difficult decision to make, because I was in provincials. I was the high scorer, but then in my last year, like in the provincials, they started to put like 3 players on me. Even if I don't have the ball, everybody will be on me, so I don't get the ball actually. And when I have the ball, they don't go for the ball, they go for me physically. Like I was lying next to the field having stitches in my eye, stitches in my leg. I have to go to hospital after the game. And yeah, so eventually...
Shame, man, because they knew if you get the ball, there's trouble. So we need to eliminate you off the field. Yes. That was the strategy of the opponent. Yeah, that's quite scary.
Yeah, so that's what's happening in school hockey and provincial hockey.
Oh,
so,
no.
Yeah, they see wherever they can get you, they will get you. So yeah, then eventually I decided, listen, I want something that's everything's on me. I don't want to bench because of this and this and this. I want to go full out, and if it's good or bad, it's all on me. And yeah, then after school, I decided before I carried on, okay, athletics is the one that I'll go into.
Okay, so I mean, you're obviously super fast at school level. What was your best time in high school?
I think maybe
it was high 11s.
High 11s, and I'm not even sure if it was electronic times, but yeah.
High 11s is very fast for high school level. So process how it goes from I matriculate into okay, I'm doing this full time. Do you seek out a coach, or does somebody come and say, listen, I want to work with you and I want to develop you into the next rock star?
So with me, I actually went to see some coaches in Pretoria, and then I've been training with a coach in Pretoria. And then actually also what happened is I was selected for World Students. It's like basically Olympics, but for only students.
Wow.
But I only qualified for the 200, not the 100.
Not the 100.
Yes.
And that was your...
And yeah, the 100 meters is now actually my event.
Yes.
And yeah, so I was scouted there by Americans, actually, American universities, because of my bent in the 200. Everybody called me the corner girl. Nobody, even the fastest people in the 100 couldn't catch me on the bent.
Really?
Yes. And so, yeah, when I came back from that, it was in Serbia. My parents got a lot of calls from these universities, like, listen, this and this is, we want. So I was like, okay, eventually you have to decide now where you're going to. So, yeah, I didn't go. I still stayed here. And with that, we also go to European tours. And eventually I got to a point where I met an Austrian coach and decided to train with him.
Yes. And what was I just want to pick your brain as an athlete, how you process issues. What was the deciding factor from moving towards the Austrian coach? Was it a new perspective? Was it a different point of view? Was it something new that you hadn't been training in with our local coaches? How did you make that decision, that transition?
Yeah, so while I was in Europe that year, it was 2012, it was also always a lot of people also approaching me, America, Namibia, there's a few saying, no, if I come there, they will drop my time by half a second and so on. And eventually,
so that's how they're selling themselves.
That's how they're selling themselves.
By half a second.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. That's a lifetime in sprinting.
So then I was like, I had still a race in Austria, two races in Austria. I had a friend there. And then he said, no, listen, my coach wants to train you. But then I was like, his time is not like actually world class even. So it was like, who's he coaching? But he wasn't really actually coaching anybody that's even international level. I was like, okay. So eventually I gave in. They said, no, they're meeting me. I was staying in Germany that time in Düsseldorf. And they were coming from Austria. They're like, it's a 9-hour drive. We'll meet you for dinner. I was like, okay, fine.
They're willing to make the 9-hour drive. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, so we met for dinner. I met his coach and he had like this pack of papers with him. And then like, okay, I'm flying to Italy for my last race tomorrow night, but we can have a track session in the morning to see if we can communicate. And then actually that morning when we went in Germany, I liked what I see, how he's coaching, his techniques, and I was like, okay, this is actually what I needed. And yeah, that same night, I've let him know, it's like, okay, listen, I want to train with this guy.
And it was history from there on.
So. Yeah, so he said, okay, before we make the decision, he'll come to South Africa for a week and see if we can actually work on the track together, because communication is very important and being able to trust each other and to see, okay, if it can work. So he actually came first to South Africa to see if we can both work, and if we both say yes, then we can carry on. But if one say no and one say yes, then it's a no.
Because that's a long distance relationship. So I'm always curious, how does does he send you a program to say, okay, Carina, today we're going to do A, B, C, D, and then give me your feedback based on today's activities? Or do you communicate on Zoom the whole time? Because that's a very difficult long distance relationship.
No, definitely. So the first 2 or 3 months, I was by myself, just communicating over...
That's tough.
Over WhatsApp. So yeah, no, it was now and then I'll send him videos. I'll take videos of myself and send it to him. He will look at it, analyze some technical things. And then he will actually come to South Africa for 2 months. And then I'm alone again before I go to Europe. And then in Europe, I'm actually with him again.
With him. Wow, yeah. That's tough, eh?
Yeah, so yeah, it's tough. It's not like the normal athlete and coach relationship. But yeah, it actually worked.
And I think that's made you a more well-rounded sort of what I'm picking up from you is rely on myself more than anything else.
Yes.
And then trust the feedback, but trust myself to execute.
Exactly.
What would you say to yourself starting off? at the point of, they called you the corner girl.
Yeah.
Now that you've got all this experience, life experience and training experience. So if you're talking to yourself and all the aspiring, sprinters and athletes that are going to watch this, what is the one or two things that you wish you knew then that you can take back with you?
I just think like not to open your ears for everybody that comes and wants to give you advice. Like advice is good, but you can't do everything that everybody's telling you. So you have to decide, okay, I'm going to listen to this specific person and that's what I'm going to do. Because if you take everything, you'll actually just stay in one place.
I'm getting goosebumps because that's evergreen advice for any field, even in business, at your work, especially today, because today, if I go on YouTube and I say I want to reduce my time with half a second as a sprinter, there's probably going to be 100 videos that I can look at. But you can't subscribe to all the channels because the techniques are different. I think if it feels normal to you, that's the direction that you should go for. Yes. Love your advice. Love your advice. Okay. Now, let's process biggest failure. What I picked up is perhaps maybe, the ban of 2 years. Mm-hmm. Can we unpack that whole thing? I know you've been asked about it, but I've got one or two different perspectives that I would like to get into. Obviously, you get tested. They find the substance. I can't pronounce the substance.
I also can't pronounce the substance.
So they find it, and you've been consuming. You've been consuming vitamins, and you've been consuming not performance enhancement drugs, rather supplements to help you obviously maintain your energy levels, training 8 hours a day. I mean, that's freakishly hard. And, you get tested and you get called in. Process that conversation with me.
Yeah, so it happened in 2019.
Yeah.
So I can take you back to what actually happened as well is we always in Europe since around end of May till August, September. And specifically that year, the World Champs was later that year. So when we were in a meeting in Switzerland, we were sitting with my agent. It's like, okay, we're going to plan a training camp before the World Champs. And you have to count your days for visas. And he's like, okay, I have to go out before I'm too long in Europe. Okay. I'm not allowed to be here anymore.
Okay.
So I have to, instead of flying back to my home in Austria, I had to flew back straight from there to South Africa.
Okay.
So basically, until this day, all my things are still in Austria.
Okay.
So when I arrived here, I had training the next day, or even the same day, I can't even remember. My mom picked me up, and I was like, okay, I need like supplements. What I use there is like BCAAs, protein shake, creatine.
So you take BCAAs, protein shake, and creatine.
Yes, and a pre-workout.
And a pre-workout.
Yes.
Okay, that's standard stuff. I take everything you said. I take, and I take other stuff as well, like cream of rice for carbs and stuff like that. Yes.
Standard things.
Yes.
Just go buy in a normal
shop.
Discount. Yeah, normal shop. So mine was bought at SA Chrome, and yeah. So for the month that I was here, went on with my normal training, everything. In the shop as well, before you buy something, you always like check yourself. My coach checks, everything's good. Okay, I can take this one, this one, this one. Everything's fine. And yeah, I went back to Europe after a month. The second day I arrived, the people were calling and say, okay, they're at my house. They need to test me. Everything is
that a
good.
normal thing?
That's normal. So when you're on the system, you are for like the athlete says, it's actually like a jail because you basically. As I said here as well, you fill in up until I think end of July at the quarter. You have to fill in every day. They know where you're at every day, every hour of your life. They know where you train. They know where you gym. They know where your house is. So you have to send also like 1 hour per day. You have to be at home.
Wow.
So if they pitch in that specific hour and you're not at home, it's also a missed test. Because you said you're going to be at home. So it's sometimes like you have to be so focused, and if you can't just decide to okay, I'm staying over at my mom's house because I'm too lazy to drive back home because okay, tomorrow morning 6 a.m. they can pitch at the house and then you're not there and it's a mistake. So yeah,
I wasn't aware. That's incredible.
Yeah, so the system is very hectic. And yeah, so they came, and I think 2 weeks later I got a call from the AIU and said no, they found this and this supplements in me. I was like, okay, that's impossible, but okay, let's take it. whatever. And then the first thing that you have to do is you have to send all your supplements to the lab to get
Okay,
tested.
the stuff that you're currently using.
Yes.
But did you bring that over from South Africa, that side, or not? You
No,
did.
when I went back to Europe, I knew all my things was still there.
So
So
you
I
didn't
left-
need to.
So I didn't need to take it back. But obviously it was they tested me 1 or 2 days after I arrived from South Africa. So the day before I was still using the things in South Africa.
Got you. Man.
Yeah, so but also as well, what you had to do is I actually had to go to the shops and look for. They wanted the batch I was using, but they wanted the same batch number in a closed container. So I actually had to go into the shops and search. I had to put on my phone the batch number, go find the supplement and search the same batch number to send a closed container as well. So that was a bit difficult, but I actually got everything as well. So sent everything tested, and at the lab they found that the supplements was put into the pre-workout, and I think there was a protein shake. Yeah.
Was the supplement noted on the back?
No,
it wasn't noted on the back.
No. So they call it contamination. So I don't know how, whatever, but they said as well what happens is if they just make a normal protein shake that's clear for athletes, but the previous thing they made that had something illegal in it, but that's allowed, or that's stated in that supplement, but they don't clean their machines.
Then it's contaminated.
And then they make the next one, and some of that, all the previous things they worked is getting into the protein shake, which is not supposed to have that. And that's how you as an athlete get.
That's a bummer, my friend.
Yeah.
Damn it. So I mean, it is what it is. They found it, even though it's contamination and it doesn't say it on the label.
Yeah.
But I think that clears your name in terms of intention.
Yes.
So your intention obviously was not I remember in the past, who was that famous sprinter that unfortunately lost his medals? Was it Michael Johnson?
Yes. Yeah.
It was Michael Johnson. He was taking some stuff that was intentionally consumed. At least yours was not intentional. You used pre-workout like every other sprinter.
Yes.
And protein powder. How does your competitor process what just happened? Like, what do you say to yourself? I mean, that's a bummer.
No, it was a huge shock. Like I told everybody, it's like I didn't expect it in my wildest dreams to happen to me, and yet it did. So, and in a second, everything is taken away from you, and it actually took 2 years to prove that, which is also not nice to take that long to prove your innocence. And in our world, we are guilty until you're proven innocent.
Unfortunately, that's true.
And in the normal world, you are innocent until you're proven guilty. So that's also a big difference for us.
Man. And okay, we proved that we're innocent. How does that connection happen again? Like, I lift my hand, the 2 years are over. You've obviously stayed fit, you've stayed motivated, you've given your body a little bit of a break, which it damn deserves, because you've been pushing so hard. Then how do you reconnect those? How do you rekindle those relationships? Do you reach out and say, okay, it's 2 years now, let me compete, let me show you what I've got? Yeah,
so for the first year, I actually didn't train anything.
First year took off.
I didn't, I couldn't, like, my mind, everything was just done. And then eventually I was like, listen, like, if I want to live up to what I say and I know, and the truth is, like, I have to start training again and like get ready again, because okay, if I believe the truth will come out, then I must also make myself ready for it.
Yes.
I can't ask for something and not live for it.
Yes.
And then I started a little bit of training. I was still not allowed on the track. So I basically started with gym, went into the street.
Not allowed on the track.
Wasn't allowed, which is also, they treated me differently, because you are actually allowed to be on a track, but you're not allowed to train with a group. But South Africa handled it wrong in many ways, but I won't get into that.
You're not allowed on a track.
I wasn't allowed on a track. So when I did some runs, I went into the streets, and then eventually 2021, I think, I got a call and said, okay, everything is good to go.
Nice.
You can be ready. So then I also had to, it took me a month as well to make a decision. where I will train again, because like obviously my Austrian coach, he went back to his normal life, normal job, and like he couldn't get back into that lifestyle again. And yeah, then I decided to train with the local coach. Also has the best sprinters in South Africa, 100-meter, Carina Horn,
Wow.
Garen's the 200-meter sprinter. And yeah, so I've started to train with him. And 5 months later, we said, okay, because like we said, okay, let's see if I can get back into it, how my body like reacts. And then it's like, okay, training looks good. Let's make a first race and see where I'm at. So my first race was in Poch 2022 last year. And yeah, I actually won.
What time
And
did you set?
11:50.
I saw that.
So
I saw that.
yeah. Um, and then we're like,
I just, sorry to
no,
interrupt.
no
I don't
worries.
want people to miss this. 11:50. She says 11:50 like, I did 11:50. World record is 11:05 if I'm not
No,
mistaken.
it's 10:49 actually.
10:49.
Yes.
So it's less than a second.
Yes.
It's less than a second. So
Yeah.
I did 11:50. That's amazing. Well done.
Yeah, thank you.
Well
So,
done.
yeah, just after almost 2 years not training, 5 months back on the track.
How did that feel?
No, it was amazing. It's like a feeling you can't explain. Because it was the best people in South Africa as well. So it was a good race, good people in it. And yeah, then 2 weeks before nationals, we said, okay, let's just go for nationals and see what happens. And yeah, then I won nationals again.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And yeah, just continued from there, went to Europe, qualified for the world champs. Like everything was just a snowball, because I was like, okay, I'm just getting back into it. And then I won nationals, and from nationals we had African champs. African champs I medaled, and I qualified for the world champs. I went back to Europe and continued my season there, and went to the world champs in America. So yeah, it wasn't planned, because I didn't know where I will be at and if I can do it so quickly again. But yeah, I was blessed.
It takes a village to raise an amazing young woman. It takes the world to raise, you, because you, Europe, America, all over the place. But if you could, I know there's more than three. Think of three people that course corrected you, that said, hey, you're going down the wrong path a little bit here, let's go there. Who are the three people, and what was your takeaway from each one?
Yeah, I think, well, firstly, it will be my mom.
Mom.
Yeah, like she's the one that will say a thing and how it is, even no matter if it hurts me or whatever. Like, you need to hear this. This is what I'm going to tell you, and that's what I'm thinking. And then my brother as well. It's not maybe things that he said, but like how he handled me since a child as well. Like, it's always competition, and no, you can do better than that. Nah, is that all you can do?
Who's quicker, you or your brother?
At the moment, me. But in school, maybe he was good. He was fast.
Okay.
He was also very sporty. So it was good.
Is he older or younger than
younger, 2 years younger.
2 years younger.
Yeah, we never did homework. We will always play something until my mom gets back.
And then you do homework.
And then when we hear a call, we will run to our rooms and make like we were doing homework the whole day.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, I think as well. And then I think actually just like my whole family, that's always just been there, that will support my mom as well and just be there for me. And yeah, I think maybe my Austrian coach as well for a while.
As well, for a while.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Can you think of a moment in your life, in your career, when somebody gave you advice and it landed, then you knew, boom, this makes sense. I'm gonna take this and make it mine.
Yeah, there's a few, but I think where I changed as well from an average to a pro is as well, like, don't let people like walk over you. Even if you're a soft person, don't be soft where it's not necessary. Like, you sometimes have to be hard, and yeah, just don't let people like look down on you. Like, know who you are and go for that,
And
not
your worth.
and not what everybody wants for you and what everybody wants you to do, but stay focused on yourself and do what's best for you.
Amazing. Beautiful. Love it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. You're throwing golden bricks at us here today. Thank you very much. Then, I always ask an athlete this. Process a big race. So world champs, it's the final, it's the 100 meters, it's your event. How does your mind process the day before? I want to go 24 hours before the race, and then right up to the race when the gun goes off. what's going on in your mind? Are you very nervous? Are you over analyzing, or how do you handle? Because that's a lot of pressure, my friend. It's everything that you've worked for that
Yes.
season. How do you handle that pressure?
Yeah, I think the handling of pressure like also comes with experience. Like now I do like much better. So yeah, like the day before as well, I'm very relaxed.
Are you training for a couple of days before the race, or
Yes,
still training?
still training, but not as much.
So no rest.
No rest. So you will have. It depends on the travel as well.
Okay.
You will, if the travel was bad, you'll take the day off. Or it also depends how you feel. Like, okay, I don't need off. I need to activate my muscles and something so you can react in the blocks and have the power to come out. So it all depends on your body as well. To listen actually to what your body feels. But yeah, like normally, like now I'm relaxed, and then you get your time where you have to focus. And
how does that look like to you?
So for me, I will watch 2 or 3 races that excites me.
Okay, that excites you.
Yes, that puts me in a good feeling, in a good mood.
Your races or
My
other
races?
Your races.
Yes, yeah.
So recordings of 2 or 3 of your races, are they all races where you won?
2 where I won and 1 where I didn't win.
I knew you were going to say that, because one
Yes.
makes you. Well,
Yes.
You're a competitor.
Yes.
You want to kill everybody.
Yes.
One where, damn it, I knew what I should have done yet, and that's where I'm going to improve.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Do you watch them in a certain sequence or not?
Yes.
You do.
Yes,
Which one do you watch last?
The one where I didn't win.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that.
Yes.
Okay, and that puts you in the mood. Is that on the day of the race?
Yeah, on the day of the race, but in the morning early.
Okay.
Just to get me into the focus, know what the day is about.
Okay.
And then switch off again.
Then you switch off
switch
again.
off again. You go have your breakfast, go have your lunch, and only when you get to the warm up track, then you start to focus again and just look in front of you.
Look in front of you.
Yes.
And then when you line up, what's going on through your mind when you line up, when you're about to get to the blocks? What are you saying to yourself, or is it just quiet?
Just quiet. Don't think of anything. So, like people will say, like I'm speaking to myself as well when they introduce me, but I think it's only one verse from the Bible that I actually say to myself the whole time.
Really? Do you want to disclose, or do you want to keep it?
It's Philippians 4 verse 13. So, but like it's just like into me, and that's all I think about. But as soon as they say on your marks, everything is clear. You don't think of anything, and because if you think of something, you're gonna react slower. So you just have to clear your mind so you can react on the gun.
Okay.
And whereas if you're gonna think, you're not gonna react as fast.
I understand.
Yeah.
It's clear, and boom,
Yeah.
you're off.
Yes.
And is the race, are you counting your steps, or is it just that muscle memory that just takes you through to the one?
No, you don't count my steps. It's just like you just need to work on the acceleration part. The first part, just know you have to push, stay low, and get up after 20 meters and see where you're at, and just relax and get yourself through the race.
Landmines. I want to pose the question. Landmines are, some mistakes, not necessarily that you've made, but you're aware of in the industry that you would like to advise, the up and comers to look out for. So what we do is we take them and then we put them as a GPS coordinate, because maybe you've stepped on them or you've seen someone else step on them, but we don't want to step on them. What are some of the insights that you can share with up and coming athletes?
And then it's obviously the band that I got from supplements you just buy off the rack. So just
but
always.
How do you avoid that?
You will never know. The thing is, you will never know. That's the
so
problem.
sad.
Yeah. So, yeah, you will never know. That's the thing.
And even I know I take supplements, so I've lost a bunch of weight, 28 kilograms in the last year and a bit.
Yeah,
and
that's a lot.
Yeah, I've been able to.
Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's one thing that I'm very proud of. I've been able to keep the weight off, and I've experimented with supplements from, I don't want to name and shame brands, but you have a protein powder, for example, that costs 340 Rand all the way to 2,500 Rand for the same amount of protein powder. Is the risk throughout all of them?
Yes, absolutely.
Even the golden standard stuff.
Absolutely, yes.
Man, that's so sad.
Yeah.
That is so sad.
No, the risk is always there, no matter how expensive or how cheap, where you buy it, it's there. yeah, you will never know.
So as an athlete, what can you do? What precaution can you do to minimize that risk?
So for me, what I did is like, I don't use protein shakes or pre-workouts anymore.
Not.
Nothing. Like what I drink now is Red Bull.
It gives you wings.
Yes.
It gives you wings, my friend. Definitely. There's the proof.
Yeah, so it's Red Bull, Powerade or Aquel, the flavored waters, and
So
yeah,
you got put off so much that you actually left it aside and you're
yeah,
not touching any of it
yeah.
just because of the risk.
Yes, just because of the risk. And what happened, like, it's like something that got taken away from me for no reason.
Yeah.
And if there was a reason, yeah, okay, I would understand. But so to avoid that, I had to make the choice. If am I willing to take that risk again now that I know I'm aware of it, or listen, just put it away.
Don't touch it.
Don't touch it ever again. Yeah.
Wow. Yes, man, that's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough. And obviously, with your coach knowing that you don't take pre-workout and you don't take protein and BCAAs, they obviously look at your energy levels and adjust your training. To that. Can I ask you a direct
yeah, of
question?
course.
Do you feel a difference?
Not really,
Not
actually.
really.
So I'm not sure if it's because my training is different. Whereas before I trained every day, like I pushed myself every single day. Where now as well, on Tuesdays it's an easy day. Thursdays off, Friday only gym, and Saturday only track. So the training is much different as well. So I can't say on the same program I felt two different things.
Got you.
So I'm not sure if the training is because the training is different as well. It's more stipulated as well. Like, this is your rest day. You don't do anything here. Go for like as well. What I brought in more is recovery. So I think, like, I'm not sure, but I ran almost the same times without any supplements. So for that as well, I'm also not sure if it's the program because of more rest instead of using the protein shakes to give you more recovery pre-workout so you can go again.
Yes.
So
more power to your coach, because obviously
yes,
these are discussions that you two have had with each other.
Yeah.
And you had to, because I'm sure other athletes still use pre-workout and that type of stuff. And more power to him or her. I'm not sure if your coach is male or female. More power to him, because he had to understand you, your ideas, your beliefs, and then adjust and still produce a result. Well done.
Yes.
Well done to the both of you, because it's a team. Amazing. Okay, now, if you could spend a day with someone, dead or alive, someone that you want to process things with and go and have deep conversations, not just how's it, nice to meet you, and oh, you're this big star, but deep conversations with, who would that be, and what are some of the things?
I think it will be Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yes.
Yo, I want to be, a tag along on that date. I'll be the third wheel here in the back just taking notes. Nice.
Yeah, no.
What would you like to process with him?
I just want to speak to him, and I like his mindset.
Have you ever met him?
No, I haven't never met him, but he's one of my role models. So I've been watching his videos and just his mindset on documentaries on how he handled life, not only the training wise, but life that's happening around him, and still everything, all the chaos that's going in, he could have still performed and focused on his training as well. One thing that caught me was when his father died, he was at the competition and he said, okay, but he's dead, so I'll do the competition for him instead of packing up and go cry. And it's I had my time with him when he was alive.
Yes.
And we would just
different mindset.
Keep blank, yeah. So his mindset and how he handled life, I think it will be a nice conversation to have with him.
Nice. Yeah. Amazing. First car?
I think it was an Opel Kadett.
Kadett?
Yes.
Nice. What color?
Yeah, a white.
A white Kadett.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was good.
It was good.
Yeah, no,
did the job.
It did the job.
And your dream car? And your
Yeah.
dream car? Of course, pedal flat. You always pedal flat. And your dream car? If there's no budget, what's the one thing that when you open your garage door, it's yeah, this is me?
At this moment, it must be the Urus.
The Urus.
Yes.
What color?
Black.
Black Urus.
Yes.
Man, that's a
Yeah.
cool car.
Mm,
That's a cool car.
mm.
Nice. I hope you get one in black and every other color as well.
Oh, every other one as well. Okay.
Really appreciate your time. It was very exciting to dive into, your career, and thank you for being so open about everything. I asked you everything I wanted to, and there was no like avoiding of a question. You're very direct. You're proud. You know who you are, and proud South African.
Thank you so much. Thanks for
It
having
was
me.
awesome.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.